Hello, dear viewer, it's me, the calendar app on your phone. To be frank, I often find myself diving into the past with music, listening to the classics of the 80s and the 90s, and I often miss a lot of the new records releasing. Today, I'm going to go over every record released last month that I arbitrarily deem relevant based on pretty much nothing but my own bias and albumoftheyear.com, and I'm going to rank them on this tier list here. I know how much you guys like tier lists. There's some great records this month. Also, Adam Levine shit on my chest this month. Let's get started. Babymetal, Metal Fourth. Starting off with a tragic whimper here, but I can pretty clearly acknowledge this record just isn't for me. I did laugh at the Tom Morello feature, though. Kind of a polar bear in Arlington, Texas kind of situation there. Get out of here, old man. Sorry, I don't know where that came from, but I won't be back. No way. Blood Orange, SX Honey. This was decent, I'd say. Some pretty good songs on here, but not an incredibly consistent project top to bottom. The second half, incredibly forgettable, but I'd say this was good. Chance the Rapper's Starline. This one had me shaking in my chair a little bit. After the big day, I've been permanently scarred, but this seriously isn't half as bad. It's about a quarter as bad, I'd say. There's a really solid track on here with a Joey Badass feature. I like that enough. Added it to a playlist, in fact, but I have no recollection of anything else that happened on this project. I won't be back. Conan Gray, Wishbone. This is probably the most forgettable record I've ever heard. It's not bad enough for me to laugh at, but it's not nearly good enough for me to praise either. This is a nothing sandwich. I won't be back. Deftones, Private Music. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Chino and the gang cooked up one last course for us, and my god is it a great one. I made a video already talking about the record a bit, but this is one of my favorite Deftones projects, just straight up. Really strong comeback after whatever the fuck Gore and Ohms were. I've been enjoying this project a lot, to be honest. This was great. Dijon, Baby. Pretty decent. That's all I really have to say. I don't hate it, but there's not enough here for me to love, to be honest. The first half of this was pretty great, I thought, but the second half just fell apart. I won't be back, but bordering on this was good, if that makes you feel any better. Dominic Fike, Rocket. This was super mediocre. Not a single track I liked, to be honest. I wasn't in physical pain, but there was no smile on my face. Short enough to stagger my misery, though, only about half an hour. Thank you, Dominic, for that. I still won't be back. Earl Sweatshirt, Live, Laugh, Love. I'm not sure what Reefer Fantana was on when he reviewed this, but we clearly have a different dealer. This is alright at best, I'd say. I haven't listened to all his discography, but compared to some rap songs, this is just super duper flat, man. It's got some strong tracks, but to be honest, I expected more from Earl Sweatshirt here. I'll say this was good, but this wasn't great, no way. I'm gonna butcher this. Ethel, Cain, Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You. Fuck, this was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this project. Really tragic record, but I really like the way this record flows. It feels like every track here has a purpose, and I really enjoy when that concept is executed well. Really consistent project top to bottom. I think this is a generational record, and perhaps the best record of the month. Ghostface Killah, Supreme Clientele 2. You know, this isn't even that bad, but I hate it. It's just kind of annoying. To make a sequel project 25 years later and for it to be a fraction as good, it just kind of grinds my gears. It rustles my feathers. Pushes my buttons, even. I didn't have fun. Really inconsistent project, but there are some alright songs here. Way too many fucking skits, though. Who's asking for these? I won't be back. Gunna, The Last One. I've always been under the impression Gunna sucks complete donkey ass, and this record locked that shit in stone. This is horrible. Seriously bad. One of the worst hip-hop projects I've heard in a while. Completely kind of just soulless garbage. 25 songs. I'd say I enjoyed, my god, actually 0 songs. I'd give this Dear God Why, but the title implies that this is his final record, and at the very least, that's some pretty great news. I'm still gonna give it Dear God Why. This sucks, asshole. Hayley Williams, Ego Death at a bachelorette party. This is pretty fucking great, man. I like this a lot. I'm not incredibly familiar with her solo work, but if it's anything like this, it's pretty fucking fantastic. I'm not gonna call every track here great, but nothing really drags here either. Every song is short enough, and the good songs here I really enjoyed, man. This was great. Jane Remover, Indie Rock. This was pretty mediocre, I fear. This artist is off the back of a pretty good record earlier in this year, but this just straight up isn't their best work, and it's not close to it. I won't be back. Jid, God Does Like Ugly. This is pretty great, I think. It's not his best work, and perhaps it's a bit disappointing coming from Jid, but if some other schmuck released this, I think it'd be a bit more well-respected. It's a solid good for me, I'd say. This was good. Joey Badass, Lonely at the Top. This is kind of mid, sadly. I'm a fan of Mr. Badass, but this is far from his best work. It's got some good tracks, my favorites being the opener and the closer, but a lot of tracks maybe kind of just scratch my head. I fear I won't be back to this project. Joey Valance and Bray, Hyper Youth. This is probably the best hip-hop project of the month, if that means something to you. This is pretty great top to bottom. It's not one of the best albums I've heard, but I enjoyed this pretty much the whole way through. The Rebecca Black feature made me giggle a little bit, but it was actually a highlight of the record, to be honest. That song was pretty great. Pretty good stuff. I think this was great. Kid Cudi, Free. It's been, my God, 15 years since the last Kid Cudi project that was good. Some of you probably weren't even alive the last time this was good, and that breaks my heart. At his peak, this guy was pretty fucking great, man. This is not a return to form. This is the same Cudi we've gotten the last decade and a half. Really average record. I think it's time he hangs up the coat, I fear. I won't be back. Laufey? I don't know. A Matter of Time. Pretty solid record here. It does exactly what it sets out to do, I think. It's not trying to be some revolutionary record. It's super standard pop. But it's better than anything I've heard out of that genre since I was a wee young lad, I'd say. I'm not sure why I worded it like that, but I like this enough. This is good for what it is. Lupe Fiasco, Samurai DX. I probably shouldn't have included this, but the new tracks here are pretty solid. The rest are remixes. I think there's only 5 songs here total. 2 of them are new. I very rarely give a shit about remixes, but the new songs here I think are good enough to mention. This was good, I'd say. Mac DeMarco, Guitar. This is the exact opposite case of that Laufey record. Laufey, I don't know still. This wants to be good, desperately so even, but it sucks. I did not have fun at all. Everything kind of stinks, to be honest. Not a real highlight on here, but not a real low light either. It's just a giant pile of mid. I won't be back, but damn near, dear God, why? Maroon 5, Love is Like. Why? Why, Adam? Why did you do this to society, to mankind as a whole? Why? This is so bad, my God. I can't even believe how bad this is. It's actually surreal. It's wild. It's wacky. Dear God, why? Metro Boomin presents A Futuristic Summer. I said that as good as I could as a white boy, sorry. This kind of stinks, to be honest. Actually, it really sucks. I don't know what I've come to expect from Metro Boomin, but it's certainly better than this. I'm not going to call We Don't Trust You a generational record, but this is almost incomparable to even that project. This is just a massive letdown, and I certainly will not be back. MGK, Lost Americana. Yeah, this sucks, but it's not like I expected it to be good. I'll be honest, I didn't come into this project with an open mind, but this does almost nothing well. Everything here feels super lazy and generic, layered with MGK's ludicrously uninteresting vocals and lyrics. This blows ass, but it's MGK. I expect no better, so I'm not going to give it Dear God Why. I won't be back. Nettspend, Gone Too Soon. I planned to just skip over this one, but I read some of the reviews on Album of the Year, and I thought they were funny enough to mention. I fully acknowledge the Album of the Year users are, well, unfathomably pretentious and pretty douchey about a lot of music, but it seems the anti-Album of the Year people have gone so far in the opposite direction that they've convinced themselves Nettspend isn't terrible. This isn't bad because it's trap music. It's bad because Nettspend fucking sucks. I hope this helps somebody. Dear God, why? Nina Geraci, I Love My Computer. This isn't for me, man. I gotta get out of here. I'm sure this is good, but I truthfully don't see the appeal of house music. Try to listen to this sober with a pair of headphones in a dark room, and you'll understand my point. I'll say this is good, but I'm not sure why. Offset, Chiari. Pretty decent, I guess. 1 or 2 tracks on here that I threw in a playlist, but top to bottom, this wasn't worth it by any means. I still won't be back. Racing Mount Pleasant's self-titled record. Man, this was fantastic. Probably my favorite record of the month, actually. Reminds me a lot of Black Country New Road before the Isaac Wood incident. Really great record, man. Very cohesive, almost prog-like at points. I enjoyed this a lot. I would recommend this to a friend. Generational record, I think. Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend. This is like that Laufey album, if instead of it being pretty solid, it just stunk complete ass. This is just really weak shit. I'm not going to call Sabrina Carpenter some revolutionary musician, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't wiggling my finger to espresso last year. This record has none of that. I expect a bunch of mid with 1 or 2 good songs on a record from her. What I got was a bunch of mid. I won't be back. Sombr, I barely know her. Truthfully, I have no idea who this is. This feels like TikTok music to me. I don't know how accurate this is, but I don't think music like this is really meant to be analyzed or even consumed in an album form. I will actually never listen to this again. This did nothing for me. If you want to be sad, go listen to Radiohead, you know? I won't be back. 3 Days Grace, Alienation. The long-awaited return of whoever the fuck their lead singer is. I believe he left the band for about a decade and came back with this project. Was it worth the wait? Sure. It's about as good as their first couple records, I'd say. That's not that good, but if you like this band, this is a pretty solid project. I won't personally be back, but it's good to see this name back in the music scene. Suicide Boys, Thy Kingdom Come. I certainly wouldn't call myself a fan of trap music as a whole, but in comparison to Nettspend, this didn't make me want to pull my eyes out of my head even half as bad. I won't be back, but this wasn't nearly as bad of a project, I wouldn't say. West Side Gun, Heels Have Eyes Too. This was pretty solid, actually. I haven't heard the original Heels Have Eyes, so coming into this fresh, I like this. Some great songs on this project, my favorite Mandela. But there's some stinkers here as well, I won't deny that. Truthfully, I won't be back, but this was nearly good. Wisp, If Not Winter. I was fairly optimistic for this project, actually. I have pretty much no knowledge of this artist, but I remember hearing something I liked on TikTok at some point. Feels like a year ago now. Every song here sounds pretty much the exact same. Is that sound bad? No. But it gets stale after the 4th or 5th track. It's not bad for a debut record, but it's nothing too special. I'll keep my eye out for their future records, though, but I won't be back to this project. Wolf Alice, The Clearing. This is good, but actually nothing more. Some very average rock music here. I'm not familiar with their other project, but this feels like a record I won't remember listening to as soon as probably tomorrow. Actually, I won't be back. Really forgettable top to bottom. Yeat, Dangerous Summer. This sucks. I won't be back. That's all I have written here. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember I have absolutely zero credentials, and I'm just a fraud listening to music on the internet. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.